Chapter 8. Secret. You want to try apple bucking again? Simmons suggested.
Uh-huh.
Apple Blossom said, shaking her hand.
No matter what happened at the last time, I couldn't feel my legs for a week.
You smell nice, whispered Thunderdash, who had been standing behind her. I mean, maybe you're a teacher like your mom.
She scratched her head. Uh-huh. He's all that.
You'll just need some sort of practice, said Lightning Dash.
It's cool,
Dinky exclaimed. Screwball and her friends were at Simmons Stick in Apple Blossom's clubhouse, which had been passed down from their apple on Apple Bloom. He had all been King by Crusaders at one point, until Apple Blossom was the only blank flank left. Today they were going to fix that. They were not alone. Thunder and Lightning had brought their 4-year-old sister, Prism. She was the spinning image of her mother, from the wild rainbow mane to the cyan fur. Whoa, already doing 3? Jess and Soren are working hard! The only difference was her father's emerald eyes. Simmons Stick had brought his younger sister, Cinnamon Roll, as well. The 7-year-old had a tan coat and platinum blonde hair tied up in a ponytail. She was just as eager to get her cutie mark, even though she had plenty of time to get ahead of her. Twins also brought their family pet tortoise, Tink. While everybody pretended to be Apple Blossom students, Screwball could not concentrate. She should be thrilled, as she had not a chance to tango with her friends since her grounding. But her mind was on the friend she had lost. Friend's Mothball looked so sad when his frightening mother took him away. She knew changelings had no hearts, but did that mean they had no emotion? Her father called them monsters, which appalled her. After all, neither he nor her liked being called such a thing. The prince did not look monstrous. Sure, he was unusual, but so was she. In fact, she was fascinated by how different and mysterious he was. Why had he stayed? Why had he not run off once his cover had been blown? She remembered how he had reacted when the Manticore had appeared. While he could have saved himself, he had taken her with him. Of course, she hadn't been in no danger, but he obviously thought otherwise and tried to pull her out of it. It was as heartless as her father said. Why would he have bothered?
Screwball, you paying attention?
Apple Blossom demanded, imitating her mother. Screwball took her out her thoughts. Sorry, guys. I'm distracted today.
Some bad muffins for breakfast?
Dinky asked. She snorted in amusement. No, I just had a few things in my mind.
Well, get those things out of your mind,
Apple Blossom ordered, banging her stick on the map of Plainville.
We have a license here.
Cut the theatrics for a moment, Blossom, said Lightning. Can't you see Screwball's having a crisis here? Maybe she's low on blood sugar, Simmons suggested.
I need some rolls this morning,
Cinnamon Roll announced. Don't be silly, said Thunder. Screwball eats nothing but cotton candy and chocolate. She's never low on blood sugar.
Is he sick?
Prism asked. Nah, that's even sillier. Screwball's the princess of chaos. She never gets sick. Yeah, Lightning groaned, rolling his eyes at his sister. Don't be an idiot, Prism.
The tiny Pegasus gasped. I'll tell Mommy and Daddy you said a bad word.
Idiot's not a bad word. Yeah, Thunder confirmed. Bad word would be. It was cut off as his mouth was suddenly set closed. What kind of big brother are you? Screwball demanded. Thunder grumbled against his mouth. Just tell us what's wrong, Screwy, so we can stop arguing about it. She was not sure whether or not to tell her friends, so she decided to run a test first. Well, hey, if you want to start singing Summer Lovin', I'm perfectly fine with that. Do you guys know what a changeling is? Every pony cast in horror, aside from Dinky and Apple Blossom.
What's a changeling?
The two asked together. They're shapeshifters, Lightning declared. They're evil, Thunder added.
They're scary,
Simmons Roll shivered, trying to hide behind her brother. They take the forms of the ones you love, Simmons exclaimed. And they eat love, Lightning flinched.
Like spaghetti,
Prezzo sighed. Our mom bowed those guys at full of bodies Lily's parents' wedding, Thunder claimed, punching his host in the air. They were deaf, Lightning counted, but our mom was victorious. Our parents were there too, Simmons Stick reminded them. So were Scribble's mom, Aunt Twilight, Aunt Rarity, and Aunt Pinky. But Mom said Prince Shiny Armor and Princess Kias defeated them in the end. Lightning rolled her eyes. Yeah, but Mom fought them hard, and knocked 100 of them out, Thunder added.
Yeah,
Prism cheered.
our mommy's awesome.
Shut up, Prism, Lightning muttered.
You said our bad word, I'm telling.
Why did you ask, Curly? Fiddlestick inquired. Screwball now knew she could not tell her friends. While she trusted them with her life, they would not understand. Oh, no reason, she lied. Did I hear something about cinnamon rolls? As Prince Smallball headed to his chamber, he heard the buzzes among the changeling. How come he gets to be the prince? He's the son of the brat. I've served this hive longer than he ever has. He's nothing special, except he looks different. Talk about discriminations. The least Her Majesty could do is pick a female to be an heiress. Maybe he'll choose to be a queen when he inherits the throne. Ha! We never needed a king, and we don't need one else. The prince quickened his pace, pretended to not hear them. And how come he gets bigger rooms? His chamber was the second largest in the hive, next to the queen's. Here slept in hexagonal alcoves, shared by 20 changelings. He could feel the glares of envy whenever he went. The worst part of that being the prince was an honor he was not sure he wanted. He was not as clever and ambitious as his mother. Even the privilege of calling her his mother made him wary. She showed him no tenderness. She did not even come to tuck him in or say good night. She was not the one to nurse him as a larva. That job went to the nurse changelings. Though he had recovered special attention even then. He had a personal nurse that was ordered to look after him and no one else. The only time his mother wanted to see him was to prepare him for the throne and tell him of her plans. He did not understand what made him so special. The others were right. He just had the fortune, or misfortune, of looking different. Crystal's heir should have been a girl to give birth to changelings. He had pondered this out to his mother once, and her reply was that he would worry about finding a queen later. It was not something for a boy on the verge of adolescence to think about. As he crawled to the bed, his mind wandered to the filly he had met once over a week ago. He could not get her out of his head. The first time he saw her, he thought she was pretty, even while drenched in chocolate milk. Her swirly curls were like wisps of purple and white clouds. Her fur was pink as the sky at sunset, and her eyes, he could not stop thinking about her enchanting lollipop eyes. His chest pounded again. What the heck is wrong with me? He shouted, slamming himself on the bed. These just stupid girls. He sighed in agony. No, she was not stupid. She had bravely faced the Manticore and tactically found a way to tame it. He still thought her crazy, but that made her more interesting. Indeed, there was no pony like her. As he had said, she was one of a kind. He had to see her again. Not because his mother had asked him to find out more about her. Because he wanted to. It was clear he was not going to get any sleep anyway. Sneaking out the hive was not going to be simple. There were guards at every exit, and even the hallways were infested with changelings. So Mothball took the form of a fruit fly. Insects were quite easy, and the first thing changelings learned to transform into. His small body made him practically invisible to everyone in the hive, and he was able to slip out into the outside world. Thorax, at seeing this, just shrugged and moved on about his day.
In the shiny armor and Cadence kissed, Rainbow Dash performed her famous sonic green boom.
Fluttershy had just finished telling her daughter the story of the changeling invasion in Camelot. Screwball had requested it, not knowing what to expect. Queen Chrysalis sounded quite evil from her mother's description, dragging a stallion to marrying her, while imprisoning the real bride, as well as Aunt Twilight, was currently quite monstrous. Was her son anything like her?
I hope it didn't scare you,
Fluttershy said. Screwball shook her head.
No, but Mom, do you believe all changelings are heartless?
The Pegasus smiled.
I'm sure your father was just exaggerating. Of course.
She shivered.
After that incident in Canterlot, I almost believed him. Then again, I thought your father was a heartless monster before I got to know him.
Hypocrite.
The filly huffed. Do you know why I went with your father?
Because Equestria was in danger.
Well, that was part of it. But before I accepted the deal, I went to Zecora for advice. So he told me that if I married Discord, there would be great happiness in my future, and that all he wanted was somebody to love him.
Fluttershy, you're making this sound worse than it does. Because now you're just making it sound like the only reason why you went was because you trusted Sakura's advice over your own. It makes it sound rather suspect. Maybe next time you tell the story, you leave out the Sakura part.
I came with him with the belief I could tame him,
She chuckled.
I never expected what would become of it. Like the fact that we even have a beautiful, special little filly and it gone away.
She leaned over and kissed her daughter on the forehead.
Good night, my angel. I love you.
Love you too, Mommy, Screwball said with a smile. Fluttershy opened the music box on the table. It had been a gift from Discord on Screwball's 5th birthday. It played without need of being cranked and alternated between Hush Now, Quiet Now, and Daddy Discord. Fluttershy then clapped her close, turning the lights off. Hours after her mother had departed, Screwball still laid awake in bed. Teasling Prince would not leave her mind. She remembered how he had not heard of chocolate milk or plain before. What kind of life had he led to not have had tasted chocolate milk? Knowing his diet answered the question. But still, 5,000 brothers and sisters, he did not know how to have fun.
He must be lonely,
she concluded. Well, it's probably ridiculous if he had 5,000 playmates at home.
Unless he's an outcast like me.
Her thoughts were interrupted by a rap at her window. She sat up in bed and turned towards the sound. A dark shadow was at her window. She slid to her door and cautiously approached, her eyes wide when she saw her intruder. She went to the window.
What are you doing here?
I wanted to see you, Prince Mothball whispered, and have more of that fun we were having the other days.
Screwball glanced around. Are you crazy? What if my parents saw you?
Why do you think I came here after dark?
So you coming or what? What if I don't want to have fun with you? How do I know you want to suck my love from me like a vampire? I'll be careful, I promise. Besides, if I wanted your love, I wouldn't come like this.
Despite how much she wanted to go out with him, she had to be vigilant. There's a chance her dad could have been right.
She sighed. Okay, meet me at the Chocolate Lake in 15 minutes. The changeling brightened up. Great, I'll see you.
Screwball shut the window as Mothball flew away. She grabbed her hat, but before she put it on, she looked in the mirror and smoothed out her hair. Her hoof was on the doorknob when a thought occurred to her.
Hold on a second.
She opened the window again and flew out. It was much faster to reach the lake by flight than on foot. Mothball had beaten her to it.
I'm glad you came, he said with a grin. Don't get happy just yet, Screwball warned. I want to know what all this is about.
The prince sighed. I guess your parents told you a lot about changelings, huh?
Well, my mother told me a lot about your parents.
Curious, he sat down beside him.
What about them?
Well, for starters, Z told me that your dad was the Lord of Chaos that took over Equestria 2 or 3 times.
He's not like that anymore, Screwball insisted. Not since he met my mom.
Yeah, Z said that too. How did it happen anyways?
My parents, you mean?
Yeah, don't take this the wrong way, but how did a pony fall in love with the evil spirit of chaos?
Screwball sprawled in the grass. Well, it's a funny story, really. The last time Dad took over Equestria, he asked for a bribe if he would stop his chaos. My mom was the only one brave enough to do it. She giggled. I've heard the story so many times, yet they keep adding new things. For once, my mom told me tonight that she went because she thought she could tame Daddy. They were engaged for a really long time. Every night, Dad would ask Mom if she loved him. They made a deal that they would not get married until she said yes. Daddy said his plan worked to reverse, and he was falling for her instead. One day, he let her go.
The prince blinked in astonishment.
But I thought you said he was in love with her. He was. He did everything he could to please her. Gave her a comfortable bedroom, created a garden full of plants and animals, took on romantic dates. You get the picture. But he knew she wasn't completely happy, all because she wanted her freedom, so he gave it to her. A few days later, Mom realized how unhappy she was without Dad and went back to him. On the way, she ran into a pack of timber wolves. Dad heard her screams and saved her. He brought her back to the castle, then they confessed their love for each other. But they weren't ready for marriage yet. It didn't tie a knot until a year later. Then he had me. Mom and listened to the story intently. Watching Philly's excited glow, she told it. He stammered, that's the most romantic thing I ever heard.
Kid, you need to get out more.
No, the real most romantic thing I ever heard was a martial artist standing on top of his mech, looking up at his lady love and confessing his love for her, in spite of the fact that he knew more about martial arts than he knew about romance. That's top of my list of most romantic things I've ever heard. Number 2 is a military otaku hearing his high school sweetheart asking her to come save him and take down every single motherfracker who came along his way, and then her telling him that once he finds her, they were going to kiss no matter what, and that she loved him and he loved her. This has been your daily reminder
to go watch Full Metal Panic. It's awesome!
Screwball's cheeks turned pinker. You know, my dad seems scary at first, but he's a real softie once you get to know him. He laughed nervously. I think he prefer not to know me. So what's your dad like? Oh, you see, I don't have a father. Screwball's smile wavered. You never knew him? She understood these things happen. Her best friend never met her father, and all she knew about him was that he had been a doctor, an explorer of some sort.
Oh! The doctor gag. We were incoming with that. Shame! Shame, Vic!
Yeah, it came a real big surprise when her dad came back and he was an older gentleman. Jeez! Yeah, it was a real surprise when her dad came back and he was wearing a fez. Jeez! Yeah, it was a real big surprise when her dad came back and it was a mare. Jeez! Yeah, it was a real big surprise when her dad came back and he was a slightly more upbeat goofball. I haven't watched the latest Doctor, okay? I don't have Disney Plus, so it's not that, Mothball explained. The changeling's race works like a beehive. You know that bees have a queen, right? Screwball nodded. Chili told him about bees months ago. That's my mom, as you probably know. She gives birth to all the changelings, the workers, the soldiers, the nurses, the drones. That's why when I said I have 5,000 brothers and sisters. So, does that mean all the female warriors out there were, female at the wedding? Because, they were more likely to have stingers. Probably explains why Thorax was such a wimp. Oh, come on. I can't believe you actually made fun of me like that. Sorry, Thorax, but you are just so colorful. Wow, Screwballer, I always wondered what it was like to not be an only child. He laughed. What I would give for that is because I have a lot of siblings. Doesn't mean we're all one big happy family. In fact, most of them hate me. I don't know if you notice, but I'm a bit different from other changelings. She scooted over to him. Because you're a prince? Well, yeah. What I mean is, changelings don't usually look the way I do. They don't have hair or pupils, for example. They're more bug-like than pony-like. When Mother saw that I was special, she made me an heir to her throne. You're special? What coincidence, I'm special too. She blushed. Oh, I don't mean to brag, it's just a fact. Mothball giggled. I figured. I never met a half-pony, half-draconicus. Have the rocka-naka-naka-naka before. Sisafo laughed. Good try. Your magic is really amazing. I've never seen anything like it. Please, you should see my dad's. He could turn an entire orchard into an ice skating rink. Still, I bet if you looked up the word special in your dictionary, there'd be a picture of your face. I'm sure you'd be there too. He groaned. The only thing that makes me special is that I look different. So, there's nothing wrong with being different. If that weren't the only reason I was Prince. Scribble jumped back to suddenly raise his voice. Sorry, it does bugs me how every changeling envies me for being the queen's favorite, a position I neither deserve nor want. There was silence for a moment, and Mothball suddenly felt something soft pressed against him. He looked down to see a pink hoof upon his neck, like the deformed one, looked up at the filly it belonged to. As he did, his green eyes met deep purple ones. Sparkles in them seemed to go on forever. If you don't want it, she whispered, you don't have to take it. But also, what you are doesn't label who you are. I'm the daughter of Chaos, but that doesn't mean I'm going to take over Equestria one day. I'm also the daughter of the element of kindness, but that doesn't mean I'm Miss Nice to every pony. I'm a little bit of both, but I'm also me. She stared at her for a long while, not breaking contact from those infinite swirls. Why are you so nice to me? He asked, even now when you know what I am. She smiled down. My parents taught me that no matter how frightening one may appear, every creature has a heart. He pulled his hoof away, turned his back to her. Not changelings. Her smile disappeared. She looked at the cult sympathetically. So it's true you don't literally have a heart? He nodded. Why do you think we need to feed off loves? With no heart to keep our blood pumping, we need love to survive, but we're incapable of feeling any love ourselves. You know, this may be the first time ever I've seen somebody take the you don't have a heart metaphor literally. Mothball coldly flicked her hoof away. He turned to her and slightly laid her over her shoulder. I don't believe that. What do you want from me? She blinked. I want to be your friend. His head shot up as he faced her again. Friends? She nodded. And that's okay with you, of course. The prince could not believe it. He never had a friend before, and the fact that this brave filly was making the offer was even more astounding. What else could he say other than, sure? She surprised him again by flinging her hose around his neck. Toko realized she was hugging him. It felt like his stomach was literally going to explode from the affection he was receiving. What was he doing? He was feeding off her feelings of friendship. What would happen if it ever became more than that? He could drain her magnificent powers. He was probably doing that right now. Scribble suddenly pulled away. Chick's coloring him fast, and the prince could not help but find cute. You, she stuttered, want to swim? Mothball stared at her for another long moment and shrugged. She smiled and reached out to touch the lake, transforming into clear water. The filly was still getting a rusted feeling over her sleek body. Even though it was impossible, she could have sworn that moment that her head had been on his chest. She had heard a heartbeat.